Hi, you guys. Okay. Insecure season 5, episode 5, Surviving. Okay. Y'all, I did not like this episode, not one bit. I was getting lost. I don't even know what the fuck Issa and Nathan was talking about. But anyway, this is going to be short and sweet and right to the point. Okay, the episode starts off with Molly. She is riding face and making a nigga spell her name with it, okay? Soon as she get her pleasure down below, she's getting flooded with calls and text messages from her father. There's been an emergency with her mother and she needs to get down to the hospital. When she gets there, Molly is still looking like last night. You know, she got her sexy dress on with the cuts out. She didn't have time for that shit to change. She had to go see what's up with mama. At the hospital, the family is in a waiting room. It seems as though some hours went by. Maybe it's early in the morning at this point. And we can see Molly is just worried. She's pacing back and forth. Finally, the doctor comes in and he tells them that they need to get prepared to say their final goodbyes. And everybody is like, what? I'm like, oh my goodness, we just seen this lady 2 weeks ago. They all rush to the back, and when they get there, they like, Harpo, who this? The doctor done fucked up the thing, thinking that we all look alike, so we must all be family. We do not all look alike. He had a nerve to ask them, was they sure? Sir, yes, I'm sure this isn't my mother. So that was a relief that their mom wasn't getting ready to pass, but it was unfortunate for the family that was coming in, and Molly brother going to tell them, I'm sorry for your upcoming loss. Like, what the fuck? Okay, they done straighten it out, and they finally get to go in and see Carol, and she is she's unresponsive right now, and it instantly hit the family like, this shit is real. And instantly we see Molly taking she's taking a role of the backbone of the family. She's making sure she's asking her father, do you need a seat? Because she know that's her father's best friend, you know. This may take a toll on him. The nurse want to ask 11 questions, and her father kind of snapped at the nurse, and she pulls the nurse to the side and apologized basically to the nurse and said this is a lot for her, that she wanted to be added on to the contact in case the nurse need any information or things like that. She also can communicate with Molly. Okay, y'all. Issa is over there with Nathan. She done stayed the night at Nathan's house, and they back on whatever this is. And per usual, Issa is acting awkward. She is fishing, the both of them have the day off, and Issa asked him did he wanted some time alone to himself, because she want to tread lightly. They gonna take things slowly this time. So he's like, I ain't say that I needed time to myself. So she was like, well, I usually hang with Molly, but sometimes she makes, during the work week, she changed the schedule. So let me hit her up and see what she's doing. And if she's not doing anything, then Nathan was like, well, we're going to have to hang together today. So Issa picks up the phone. She calls Molly. Hey, girl, what you doing? Reading a book with your reading self? And Molly we find out Molly tells her that, actually, no, I'm down the hospital. Issa gets Nathan to drop her off at the hospital. Nathan tells Issa that if she needs a ride back, that he'll come back and get her. So Issa is being bashful. She's like, no, I don't want to take up your day. About to go on the whole 9. And Nathan like, look, Issa, look, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, just call me. Upstairs, Molly's aunt, she's up there bothering the doctors with her questions about the different sounds her cough make. And she's like, it's a cancer. I can only imagine the crazy and numerous amounts of questioning that the doctor get on an average just by normal people every day. I could just imagine. They should write a book just about the hilarious stories they get. Issa makes it up there with Molly, and Molly has just been holding stuff down. Like I said, now she's stepping in to be the backbone of her family. She's making sure her family good while they're just anxiously waiting. So Issa asks her, so is there anything that I can do for you? How you feeling? Do you need to change your clothes? Because Issa see that she has on her night before clothes. And Molly is like, yes, I done heard a man in here whistling at me. Maybe he was wheezing, but I don't know. So Issa said, well, maybe I can give you these clothes that I got on right now till I go home and get you some clothes to bring back up here. They switch clothes and Issa is filling Molly's dress, okay? Molly thanks Issa and she tells her that she appreciates her. Now Issa calls Nathan to pick her up and to ask him to drop her off at Molly's house. And I'm like, Issa, why she's being apologetic, for having him come out and take her around. But I'm like, Issa, why you keep apologizing and treading lightly? If this shit is going to crash and burn, that's what I'm going to call them, crash and burn. He also tells Nathan because of this situation with Molly's mother that it made her call her mother and leave her a nice long voice message because her mother didn't answer the phone. And Nathan was like, yeah, I called my mother as well. And this is true. Sometimes, especially at this age, it makes you don't sit back and think about those things, like your mother could be taken away from here into maybe someone else's experiencing that, and it makes you reflect and say, well, damn, let me go check on my mom, see how she doing. And it also makes you appreciate your loved ones and those that matter to you the most. Issa is now back at Molly's apartment and she's getting some clothes out for Molly. And Nathan's like, okay, what about the dog? He don't have no food, no water. Don't he have to go to the bathroom? And he's just like, he a house dog. He probably know what to do. Y'all, this would be me. Now, you would have to remind me that, you have to feed the dog. I don't know. I don't know these things, and I'm definitely not walking your dog. Now, I'll feed them, but I'm not walking them. But if I did have a man there like Issa had Nathan, I would get him to walk the dog, I guess. But I'm just not pet all of that, so I wouldn't know. You would have to remind me, like, girl, feed my dog. So Issa's like, shit, okay, give me a minute. Let me change out of this tire. At the hospital, dude from the night before is texting Molly, and he said something like, you took me to the moon last night. And he said the emoji. Let me tell you, if a dude send me those emojis, that is such I hate dudes that use those emojis. I just hate it. Like, I get turned off by that. I know it's just me. I just hate those emojis. Don't you text me with those emojis. But Molly didn't have time for that shit. Aunt Kiki over there, she said she's on the phone and another family member want to pray on a speakerphone, and Molly is like, look, we don't have time for that right now, okay? Like, read the room, Aunt Kiki. Read the room. Aunt Kiki, she's talking to Molly's father, and she's like, yeah, Carol told me that y'all was still working on your estate. And Molly finds out that they haven't finished their estate. And she gets a phone call from her colleague at work, and I cannot remember his name right now, but he's checking up to see where's Molly at on the project that she said that she committed herself to. Molly tells him that she needed a little bit more time, that she was going to work on it tonight. He asks Molly, are you sure while there's still time, Felicia can still jump on this? This is very important. And Molly, she's determined that she's going to get this done. And she tells him, look, I'm going to get this done. What's the latest you need this by? I do not think Molly will get this done because Molly is at a point right now in her life where she has to prioritize what's most important in her life. Not only with random hookups and relationships, but with Molly's career as well. Issa and Nathan are out walking Flavor Flav, and Issa's mom, she FaceTimed her because remember Issa left her a message, and she's like, oh baby, that message was so sweet and I miss you too. She signed Issa up for her book club, and that's how they going to spend some time together. And she sees that Issa keep peeping over her shoulder. Her mom asks her, who do you keep talking to? Who you peeping at? Who was that? Issa said, oh, that's just my friend Nathan. Nathan comes in the frame and he's like, hey, Issa mom. And Issa mom's like, oh, hey, Nathan. Are you my daughter's boyfriend? And Nathan said, yeah. Issa mom like, oh, shit, you Steph Curry with it. She tells Nathan, look, I'm going to need your number because sometimes when I call Issa, she do not answer the phone for me. Issa like, okay, mom, that's enough. She gets off the phone with her mother and she tells Nathan that, you know, since her parents divorced, her mother just been everywhere. And it's like she need to make up her mind as to what she really wants. And Nathan gives her a look like, girl, I know you ain't talking. See where you get it from. And we know this about Issa. Issa flip-flops so much. She doesn't even want a Nathan right now. And she don't even know it. I'll say that she does want him for right now. But like I said, this is going to crash and burn. Why the fuck Flavor Flav then got loose and took off running down the street? Flavor Flav is gone. Back at the hospital, it's been a long day for Molly. And at this point, she's even more anxious and she's bombarding the nurse with all these questions. She said that she was searching on WebMD and she asked the nurse, will her mother, will they be performing a carotid Doppler on her mother? Molly's brother is even telling her, look, Mo, just calm down and let this lady do her job. Molly is like, no, I was just looking on WebMD and the nurse cut her off and she was like, oh, you one of those. She was like, look, your mother wouldn't qualify for a carotid Doppler because this is not her first stroke. And Molly's like, oh, what the fuck is going on in this hospital? Like, how y'all keep getting the wrong information? My mother never had a stroke. And her father tells her, well, Molly, your mother didn't want us to worry you guys about this. And Molly is like, how the fuck can you tell me not to worry? Like, that's very important. I need to know these things for future reference. And it's true. Like, we think that we're protecting our kids by not telling them certain things, but in reality, it's not helpful at all. Flavor Flav is still missing. Issa and Nathan is trying to locate the dog. And Nathan suggested that, you know, dogs, they mark their territory, that they should head back to Molly's because dogs has a tendency of always returning back home. And I'm like, yeah, you know, because you the dog, nigga, you the dog. Issa's like, oh, for real? I didn't know you knew about dogs. And he tells Issa, yeah, he had a dog one time one of the neighborhood kids he was beefing with let his dog loose, and his father always told him that if he let somebody fuck with him or do something to him and he didn't defend himself, that he would fuck him up. And we know this motto. If you are a lot of us growing up in these type of environments, we know this type of motto, and it could be toxic, but the way they just conveyed this, it didn't hit me like I'm supposed to feel sorry or some type of sympathy for Nathan. Nathan got a lot of shit with him, it seems like, and it seems like that we're going to be peeling back a lot of layers of Nathan this season. Molly was left alone with her mom, and the doctor comes in and he tells Molly that the test is reading that the stroke had did some extensive damage and that it's possible that their mom may wake up with paralysis. Tells Molly it's not a definite, it's just a possible. And we see that as the doctor is leaving and Molly's father and them is coming back, we see that she's left with the task to tell her family the news. And this is more of Molly stepping into the role of taking the place of her mother. Not saying that her mother will die, but she's just stepping up as her mother is sick. Makes you question, like, if something was to happen in your family, your immediate family, who would take the the lead role. Not saying that her father isn't a leader, but come on, like, we all have that one in our family, that matriarch. Who would that be in your family? I'm not prepared for that in my family, but it seems like if something do happen, I will be the one. Anyway, Issa is back at Molly's and she's sitting on a bench, and Flavor Flav reemerged. And Issa's like, oh my God, like, I couldn't do today without you. You're so patient with me, and that's why I love you. And Nathan looks at her like, are you sure about that? Without even saying it. But like when Issa was talking about her mom, and he knows this is how Issa is. Issa just probably loves Nathan for that moment. I'm not going to say that she don't love him, but she loves the fact that Nathan can romantically take her mind away from Lawrence, in my opinion. Issa makes her way back up to the hospital with Molly, and Molly is telling Issa that it bothers her that her mother thought that she wasn't strong enough to handle everything that her mother was going through. And Issa said, what makes you think that? And what more could you have done? And Molly's like, could have answered more of her phone calls. I could have made sure she was doing her doctor's appointment. And Molly is feeling bad that she was with that random. Her mom was at home having a stroke. Molly goes on to say, like, well, all she wanted to do is see me get married. What if I don't have no grandchildren before she leave here? And Issa has to tell her, look, calm down. Look at all the things that you have accomplished and all the things that you do have. Issa tells Molly shit is going to happen when it wants to and how it wants to, and we just simply don't have any control over that. And Molly said, I understand that. I just don't want to be left out the loop. And we feel this way is why we feel this way is because we feel like if we're in the know that we can control it, and sometimes we just simply can't. To tell Molly, well, girl, I'm always going to be in your loop. And she asks Molly, like, you good? You need something? I'm going to go down and get us some coffee. Okay, Issa goes down and get the coffee. She runs into the guy with a gurney, and he's playing you go first. She playing you go first. And while she's doing that, we see motherfucking Lawrence and Condolence at the motherfucking hospital for their appointment. What are the odds that you will see your ex that you just broke up with yesterday at the motherfucking hospital? While your best friend is going through this trauma. Like, what the fuck? God, why are you punishing me in this form? And the way Issa was shooketh and bothered in her spirits, it shows me that she still has a thing for Lawrence. And Nathan is just a temp. Point blank period. This is crash and burn, okay? And that's where the episode ends for this episode. And I am not satisfied. I am not coming. What is going on? And we're getting every episode. It's like a dark undertone. It's like a death. Like we're talking about death too much. I understand that this is the last season, but baby, this is not the thing. This is not what the assignment called for. And I'm still sticking to my prediction that Kelly is going to die in the last episode. I mean, they're setting us up for something. And we're coming off of, we're still going through the corona thing. And why do y'all want to bring so much dark energy into every single episode? It's bothering me. It's upsetting me and my homegirls. Hopefully it gets better. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.